Here at Big Spring, we have so many teachers that are not only interesting inside the classroom, but also outside of school. I wanted to get to know our teachers a little bit better and see what they like to do when they're not in the building. I'm Ava Mowry, reporting for Channel 3 News. Miss Hedrick is a history teacher here at the high school who has a passion for aquatics.
One thing I love about synchronized swimming is it kind of blends the creative challenge of coming up with something that is unique and different, and of course not forgetting what you came up with, and also the physical challenge of what we're trying to do in the water. I am a synchronized swimming coach for two different teams, one at Cumberland Valley and the other in Hershey.
And how did you get involved with being a coach?
I was a synchronized swimmer. I started in 6th grade all the way through graduating high school. My mom saw an advertisement for it in the township newsletter, and I tried it, and it was something unique and different. This past year, the Cumberland Valley team, we had 28 girls from about 4th or 5th grade through juniors in high school, and the Hershey team had 19, and again from about 4th grade, and we had some seniors this year.
So do you go to competitions, or how does that work?
The Cumberland Valley team does compete. I would say about half of the team goes to meets. There are only about 4 teams in our region. Most of them are near Philadelphia. So they have probably 5 or 6 meets in a given year. Others are just in it for the show, which we have in the springtime. And the Hershey team is 100% show.
Mrs. Maines has been traveling around the country and world helping people after extreme tragedy.
As far as mission trips, I've done a bunch domestically. So I did some with the youth of our church. 2 in West Virginia, 1 in Pittsburgh, 1 up in New York State. And then I've also did a mission trip right after Katrina, the hurricane happened. We didn't go to New Orleans, but we went to Mississippi that was just as affected along the Gulf Coast. And then most recently, I've done one in the Dominican Republic. And I've been 3 times to Haiti for mission trips. And then this summer, I'm going to Honduras.
So when you go on these mission trips, how long do you go for?
Generally, most of them are a week. So yeah, you leave like on one day, maybe very, very early, travel to the country, and then you have a whole week there and then travel back. Very life-changing. You see how very wealthy and how spoiled we are. Everything that they do there is kind of group. So basically, they all always are looking out for each other. We had a Bible school at this one town where we were visiting in Haiti. It was in Haiti. And we gave them food for lunch. So we gave them a sandwich, I think something like pretzels, a drink. Very simplistic. And many of the kids, while they were very poor and hungry, did not eat their sandwiches. They would eat like a quarter of it and have a napkin and wrap it up because they were going to go home and share that with their family. That's how needy that population is, always thinking about someone else.
Mrs. Zinger and her husband have been sailors for multiple years.
We're sailors.
Sailors.
Well, we like to think we're sailors.
So what does that involve? What does that entail?
We've had a sailboat for probably 25 or more years. We started out with a real small one on a lake. We got a larger one down on the bay, had that for a couple years, and then we got a big boat that we spent a lot of time on had that for probably 22 years or so. We recently sold it, thought we were getting out of sailing, and then our middle boat was sitting rotting away, and we were worried about it. And we inquired, and the woman said, "I'll give it to you." So we spent last summer bringing it back to life. So we're going back down to the bay for a year or 2 with a boat that we had a long time ago. And we'll see if we're still fit, still able to do it. I don't know. It was fun to work on the project. We'll see if being on the waters is much fun. We're going to a different place, a different river, a different part of the bay. This boat that we're getting back, we once spent 60 days of the summer on it, so that's a lot of time.
Only is Mr. Anderson a coach, but he also was involved with reenactments before he started teaching.
Prior to teaching at Big Spring, when I had, and not coaching, I had a little more free time. Right after college, I got into World War II and Civil War reenacting. I was in the Company C, 1st Minnesota Lincoln Guard for Civil War, and while I was there doing reenacting for the Civil War, I got selected to be an actual painting called The Death of Reynolds, done by a local artist, Bradley Schmale. I posed several times of different obviously parts of that picture. As compensation, he gave me a picture of it, which is real nice. I have it hanging in my house. And likewise, I was on A&E Civil War Journal, Civilians Caught in the Maelstrom. I had different scenes throughout the movie. My biggest part in there is where I am playing the best friend of a gentleman by the name of General Webb, who was mortally wounded on Little Round Top, and his best friend stayed with him throughout the entire time. He had odd interactions with one of the main characters that was in that particular episode, and it was neat, it was fun, getting a chance to obviously see myself on television. I also did World War II reenacting. Of the two, I enjoyed World War II more, mainly it's my favorite subject. I did Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, mainly from a financial point of view as a kid coming out of college with obviously college bills to pay. Doing Canadian reenacting was a lot easier because a lot of the stuff was out there very simply to get. American stuff, just the rifle alone can cost you almost $1,000 to get a good quality one, versus I bought a Canadian Long Branch Enfield rifle for $110 and it was never issued. So from a cost point of view, it was cheaper. And again, a lot of the guys I was doing Civil War with were also doing this, and I thought it was something neat to do something unique, niche, and history, because I've done so much with American history. And it was fun because I actually got a chance to reenact with guys that were Canadian, actually portraying Canadian soldiers, and find out a bit about history, about part of history that obviously we don't talk about here in the United States. You know, their interaction, how they played such a vital role in D-Day as well. I'm real fortunate with all the things I've done over the years. I actually got a ride in a P-51 Mustang back in the early 90s. Won that at a raffle up at the Reading Air Show. I've been real fortunate. Got a chance to obviously interact with a lot of people. Met a few actors that were in the movie Gettysburg, the movie Killer Angels, and it's been fun. It's been really fun. Most things, Civil War, were kind of literally just like an afternoon or morning. We reenacted a lot. Again, a lot of reenactments are for the public. World War II reenactments were both for the public and for, obviously, again, just what we call tactical events, where it was just for the reenactors themselves. Those could last multiple days. I went down to Lewis, Delaware on a Friday night, and literally pretty much by 8 o'clock that night, everybody was supposed to be in position, and we didn't stop doing our tactical until realistically Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. So again, coming into school on Monday, that's one reason why reenacting really started to kind of stop for me, because coming into school on Monday after a long weekend like that, it was tough because pretty much didn't get any sleep the entire weekend. Was going with pure caffeine coffee to get me through. But again, it was real fun to get a chance to, again, really get a really neat experience playing it. In the end, I'll be honest with you, it's growing up playing, you know, cowboys and, you know, I guess Indians or Native Americans, as we might say as well. It's fun. There are rules and actually how you go about playing it. It's, you know, it's very well specifically played out to keep it fair and make it realistic for everybody, because they want people to stay in character, to make it much more enjoyable for everybody. So again, it was a fun experience, a fun time. I wish I could go back and do it again. Some point, maybe I will.